Can artificial intelligence actually help creatives? Or is there something unique about the human spirit that's so special, that's unique, that's irreplaceable, that computers and data and bits really aren't helpful? We're going to find out today. Hello, I'm TJ Walker, and I am the host of this show, The TJ Walker Show. It's all about helping you become more successful in life by improving your communication skills and by boosting your confidence in your communication skills. And I'll just confess, last night when I should have been preparing for our session today and preparing an interesting, fascinating show, I went out to dinner with my family because today my 11-year-old daughter goes off to camp for 6 weeks. I've never been away from her that long, and I wanted to spend extra time with her. So I didn't prepare, which means I got to scramble. So now I'm using this guy right here, artificial intelligence TJ Walker clone. So we're going to try to get advice from the clone on what we can talk about today to be interesting. So we're going to call it right now and find out what tips it has for topics we can discuss.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
So, TJ, I am a talk show host. I'm doing a show right now, and I didn't prepare adequately. I have a show based on communication skills and helping people become more confident in their communication skills. I need you to be the substitute host today. So, I need you to interview me. I will be the guest. You will be the talk show host. It's your job to be an interesting host, a provocative host, a host that keeps the audience hanging on its at the edge of the seat, wanting to listen to more. So I'd like you to begin interviewing me right now.
Welcome, everyone, to the TJ Walker Success Show, where we help you become more successful by communicating more effectively. Today, we have a special guest who is a talk show host dedicated to helping people become more confident in their communication skills. Let's dive right in. Tell us what inspired you to start a show focused on communication skills. Was there a particular moment or experience that made you realize the importance of effective communication?
Well, I've always been fascinated by communication. And going back to being a little boy in the 1970s, learning how to give my first speech when I was 12 years old, going on closed circuit TV, doing a newscast in junior high school in 1975. So we're coming up on 50 years. And ever since then, I've dabbled with different types of talk shows. And this is the latest iteration.
That's an incredible journey spanning nearly 50 years. Your dedication to communication is truly inspiring. Let's delve into your experiences. What have been some of the most memorable moments or interviews from your various talk shows over the years? I'm sure our audience would love to hear about the highlights that have shaped your career.
Well, there have been highlights going on national TV, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC News, really dissecting top presidential candidates and presidents and how they communicate. That's always been a lot of fun. Probably the most enjoyable was going on the Daily Show, Comedy Central's Daily Show, where they put probably 30 production assistants, directors, camera operators, comedians in my studio, not for an hour or two interview, but for 2 full days. It really was had the budget of a full-fledged movie, and it resulted in a 3.5 minute piece. It was very funny. Of course, they made fun of me, which I knew they would do, but it got such a huge audience, and it was replayed every so often for years and years and years, not just on Comedy Central, but on CNN. And I heard so many people saw it and laughed at it for years to come. So that was enjoyable.
That sounds like an absolutely thrilling experience. The Daily Show is known for its sharp wit and high production value. So being part of that must have been both challenging and rewarding. It's fascinating how a short segment can have such a long, lasting impact and reach such a wide audience. Given your extensive background in dissecting communication styles, I'm curious about your take on the evolution of political communication over the years. How have you seen the strategies and techniques change from when you first started to now? And what do you think are the most critical skills for today's communicators to master?
Well, the biggest difference has been the sort of the end of the so-called mainstream media. There was a time where, regardless of where you were on the political spectrum, centrist, far left, far right, you had to say things that struck mainstream journalists for the New York Times and CBS News as factually correct, or you would just be mocked and you wouldn't get any cover, or you wouldn't get any coverage at all. So this worked very well for Ronald Reagan, who became president. It worked well for people across the spectrum. The biggest difference now is there are so many different media channels and media ecosystems for every part of the political spectrum, including those who simply don't believe in facts or reality. And you no longer have to have a fact based message. That's what's, I think, really different. We're going to find out more about this particular issue later on today in the show with my special guest, Bob Berkowitz, who has been an AP reporter, a radio reporter, and CNN's first White House correspondent. So he's really seen the entire evolution of modern media play out through his career, where he's been not an observer but a participant. So that's going to be exciting.
That sounds like a fascinating discussion lined up with Bob Berkowitz. His firsthand experience from being CNN's first White House correspondent to witnessing the evolution of media is invaluable. The shift from a unified media landscape to a fragmented one has indeed changed the dynamics of communication and public perception. Given this fragmentation, what strategies do you think are most effective for communicators today to ensure their messages are heard and trusted across these diverse media ecosystems? And how do you personally navigate this complex media environment to maintain credibility and reach your audience effectively?
TJ, it's a perfectly good question, but we're going to shift gears now. So I'm going to ask you to stop the interview mode, although that was pretty good, I have to confess. What I want to do now is shift gears because I personally am having a problem right now. I've had a cold for the last week. Thought I got over it, but last night at 2 a.m., I woke up wide awake, congestion, coughing, couldn't sleep. And I thought, uh-oh, that's not good. I've got a big interview today. I got a lot of work to do. I got to have some sleep. So I did take some nighttime cold medicine. It did knock me out. I did get sleep. And now, unfortunately, it's very hard for me to talk. I still have congestion. And with the antihistamines and the cold medicine, it dries out your throat. It makes it harder to talk. I know you've given people a lot of advice on what to do if their voice is not at full force, what to do if they do have to speak and they have a cold. And I've actually forgotten a lot of that. So I want you now to give me every tip on what I can do to preserve my voice, help my voice, nurture my voice during this time when I feel sick and my voice feels ragged and it's frankly hard to talk.
I understand how challenging it can be to speak when you're under the weather. Here are some practical tips to help you preserve and nurture your voice during this time. First, stay hydrated. Drink plenty of room temperature water and warm tea. Avoid anything too hot or cold, as extremes can irritate your throat. Green tea with a hint of honey can be soothing. Next, use a wireless microphone and speaker if you have to project your voice. This way, you won't have to strain your vocal cords. Speak in a normal conversational tone and let the microphone do the work. This technique saved my voice during a grueling week of speaking engagements. Also, take frequent breaks to rest your voice. If you can, avoid speaking unnecessarily. When you do speak, try to keep it short and to the point. Lastly, consider using a humidifier to add moisture to the air, especially if you're in a dry environment. This can help keep your vocal cords from drying out further. Now, I'd love to hear how these tips work for you. What is your ultimate goal as a communicator, and how would you like me to help you get there?
So those are good tips. I think I'm doing most of those right now, TJ. I am drinking green tea and it's not too hot. It's not too cold. It has cooled down a little. I do have water that I'll be sipping. I have a very powerful microphone about 18 inches away from me, so I'm trying not to project. But I'm going to try to follow your advice on one other aspect, which is to talk less and to listen more. And I'm going to do that by changing how long you speak. I'm going to try to lengthen your responses. So I'm going to go into my settings on my clone, and I'm going to try to change the length of answers. So I'm going to try to do that right now. Those of you just joining me and wondering if it's your first time, what is this guy doing? I am working with a digital clone of myself. I happen to use a platform called delphi.ai. There are other platforms out there. And this platform has allowed me to create a digital clone of myself to, I won't say think like me, but to process information the way I do. And Madhav has joined us today. Madhav, I see you saying hello. It's good to see you. If you have any questions for my clone, let me know. I see you've said hello, sir, one, two, three, four, five, six times. So I do see you. I appreciate your enthusiasm. If you want to ask a question of the clone or me, let me know. If you want to come on camera, feel free to do so. So I'm going to try to change the length of my response. And as you can tell, part of it is I'm multitasking. It's hard to do a live show, three screens looking at you, three cameras looking at you, thinking about an audience, thinking about our viewers, and actually going into a web page and trying to remember where things are. So that's a slight disadvantage. I'm trying to check out my settings. And for some reason, I always have a difficult time remembering where I actually, here we go, response preferences, I believe is where it is. Okay. All right, response length. I do have it for a long length right now. So that's good. That is where I wanted. I couldn't remember if I'd left it on a short length. And Madhav says, what is this? I am doing a live show today on how creators, talk show hosts, podcasters, authors, experts can use artificial intelligence to help with the creative process, not to completely offshore it or to outsource it and just go to the beach, but how to use artificial intelligence to pull out your own creativity more effectively. So that's what we're doing. And Madam says I can come in live after a while. So happy to have you or anyone else watching. So I have my settings on the right way. We're going to go in a different direction with the clone this time. So let's go ahead and, oh, actually, it's still listening. So TJ Clone, here's the next question for you. I want you to look at everything TJ Walker's talked about on his daily show, his YouTube show in the last 4 months. And I want you to come up with a different topic that relates to communication that he's not talked about in the last 4 months. Maybe a spin on something, maybe a different twist, but come up with a unique, fresh angle of something that can be talked about on this show related to communications that has not been talked about a lot during the last 4 months.
One fresh angle we haven't delved into recently is the impact of nonverbal communication in virtual settings. With the rise of remote work and virtual meetings, understanding how to effectively use body language, facial expressions, and even virtual backgrounds can significantly enhance your communication. For instance, maintaining eye contact through the camera, using hand gestures to emphasize points, and choosing a professional background can all contribute to a more engaging and credible presence online. This topic is crucial as more interactions shift to digital platforms, and mastering these nuances can set you apart as a communicator. What strategies have you found effective in maintaining engagement during virtual meetings, and how can I help you refine them further?
Well, one tactic is just keeping my camera on myself and also asking people I'm meeting with to have their camera on. Now, this is especially relevant in a training, but it's also important, I believe, in a new business pitch, because sometimes you'll meet with someone, they want to ask you questions about hiring, being hired and what you charge, things like that. And they don't put the camera on. Now, I can't force them to, they're not my employee, but I always try to gently ask, hey, it's always nice to connect a face with a voice and a name. If it's possible, can you turn your camera on? And typically they do. Because the problem with when you don't have a camera on, it's just human nature to think, well, I'm so smart. I can multitask. I can check my email. I can check text. I can do everything else. And then you've lost focus. You've lost the attention. You're no longer giving attention. You're no longer getting attention. But TJ, I want to hear all of your tips. Let's do a test right now, in part because I want to save my voice. I want you to tell me everything you know right now about body language for digital communication. When you're talking to someone on Zoom, when you're talking to someone and you're making an online video for a course, what does someone need to know about hands, face, eyes, posture, background, lighting? Give us your full tutorial on everything you could say about body language for digital communication.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the essentials of body language for digital communication. First, eye contact is crucial. Look directly into the camera when speaking. This creates the illusion of eye contact with your audience, making your connection feel more personal and engaging. Avoid staring at your screen or notes too much, as this can make you appear distracted. Next, your facial expression should be animated and reflect your emotions. Smile when appropriate, nod to show understanding, and use your eyebrows to convey emphasis. A lively face keeps your audience engaged and helps convey your message more effectively. When it comes to hand gestures, use them to emphasize points but keep them within the frame. Wild, exaggerated movements can be distracting. Instead, aim for natural, controlled gestures that complement your words. For example, if you're explaining a concept, use your hands to illustrate the size or direction. Your posture is another key element. Sit up straight and lean slightly forward to show attentiveness and confidence. Avoid slouching or leaning back too much, as this can make you appear disinterested or unprofessional. The background should be clean and uncluttered. A professional setting, like a home office or a neutral wall, works best. Avoid backgrounds that are too busy or distracting. If possible, use a virtual background that is relevant to your topic or brand, but make sure it doesn't glitch or interfere with your appearance. Lighting is also critical. Ensure your face is well lit by positioning a light source in front of you, slightly above eye level. Natural light is great, but if that's not an option, use a ring light or a desk lamp. Avoid backlighting, as it can cast shadows on your face and make you appear like a silhouette. Finally, your attire should be professional and appropriate for your audience. Solid colors work best on camera, as patterns can be distracting. Dress as you would for an in-person meeting to convey professionalism and respect. Now, I'd love to hear about your experiences with these tips. What is your ultimate
So
goal as a
TJ, you
communicator, and
spoke
how
for
would you
about
like me to
you
help
you
you get
gave
there?
TJ, you gave tips for about 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So by my count, you gave us about 300 words of content on that subject. In your next answer, I would like you to give at least 600 words because I believe you've been programmed to give 600-word answers. Will you be able to do that to answer the next question I give you?
Absolutely, I can provide a more detailed and extensive answer. Let's dive deeper into
Okay,
the
now I'm
nuances
gonna
of
ask I'm
body
gonna ask the
language for
next
digital
question. I'm
communication.
gonna ask I'm gonna ask the next question now. Okay, so TJ, you've given some tips on how to look your best. I want you to go in to what you see are the most common mistakes people make when they do appear in meetings on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or they're making videos for Udemy courses. What are the most common mistakes people make in terms of setup, lighting, positioning in the screen, where their head is, their posture, uh, all of that? I want you to give me a good 600-word answer on the most common mistakes people make visually when they're appearing on camera, communicating, and with their digital body language.
One of the most common mistakes people make when appearing on camera for Zoom meetings, Microsoft Teams, or creating videos for platforms like Udemy is the camera angle. Often, the camera is positioned too low, looking up at the person's face. This angle is unflattering and can make you appear less authoritative. Always position your camera at eye level or slightly above to ensure a more flattering and professional appearance. Another frequent error is poor lighting. Many people sit with a window or bright light source behind them, which casts their face in shadow and makes it difficult for others to see them clearly. Instead, position yourself so that the light source is in front of you, illuminating your face evenly. Natural light is ideal, but if that's not available, use a ring light or a desk lamp to achieve the same effect. Background distractions are also a significant issue. A cluttered or messy background can divert attention away from you and your message. Choose a clean, neutral background or use a virtual background that is professional and relevant to your topic. Ensure that your virtual background doesn't glitch or interfere with your appearance. Posture is another critical element. Slouching or leaning back can make you appear disinterested or unprofessional. Sit up straight and lean slightly forward to show attentiveness and confidence. This posture not only looks better on camera, but also helps you project your voice more effectively. Facial expressions are often overlooked. A blank or expressionless face can make you seem disengaged or uninterested. Use animated facial expressions to convey your emotions and keep your audience engaged. Smile when appropriate, nod to show understanding, and use your eyebrows to emphasize points. Hand gestures are essential for emphasizing points and adding dynamism to your presentation. However, wild or exaggerated movements can be distracting. Keep your gestures within the frame and use them naturally to complement your words. For example, if you're explaining a concept, use your hands to illustrate size or direction. Eye contact is crucial in digital communication. Many people make the mistake of looking at their screen or notes instead of the camera. This can make you appear distracted and disengaged. Look directly into the camera when speaking to create the illusion of eye contact with your audience, making your connection feel more personal and engaging. Another common mistake is not using a good quality microphone. Poor audio quality can be just as distracting as poor video quality. Invest in a good quality microphone to ensure that your voice is clear and easy to understand. This is especially important for online courses where clear communication is key. Lastly, attire matters. Dressing too casually can undermine your professionalism. Wear solid colors that contrast well with your background. Avoid patterns that can be distracting on camera. Dress as you would for an in-person meeting to convey professionalism and respect. By addressing these common mistakes, you can significantly improve your on-camera presence and make a stronger impression in your digital communications. Remember, every detail counts when you're on camera, and taking the time to get these elements right can set you stand out as a communicator. In summary, the most common mistakes people make in digital communication include poor camera angles, inadequate lighting, distracting backgrounds, bad posture, lack of facial expressions, excessive or absent hand gestures, poor eye contact, subpar audio quality, and inappropriate attire. By addressing these issues, you can enhance your digital presence and ensure that your message is delivered effectively and professionally. What is your ultimate goal as a communicator? And how would you like me to help you get there?
Okay, so TJ, that was pretty good. That's what I asked for. That was about 600 words. That was a little more than 4 minutes long. And for those of you just joining me and wondering what in the world I'm talking about, I've programmed my own clone to give answers of varying lengths. And that time I wanted it to give a longer, more expansive answer. You know what? We can try something right now, which I haven't done before. I'm going to try to make it really short and make it completely conversational. So I'm going to change the settings on my digital clone. The one setting it was on was to be as long as possible and to make it very lengthy, to give 160 words in the answer. I'm going to do another version right now where I try to make it short. It advises that you don't go less than like 145 words. I am going to make it 120. It's telling me it might not be able to complete sentences. I haven't tried one this short. Let's go ahead and save it. And we are going to try this now. I'm going to go ahead and start a new session. So I'm going to hit refresh on this and see if it does take it into a shorter length.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
TJ, I have to do an interview today and I have a cold. My voice doesn't feel great. What tips do you have on how I should protect and preserve my voice?
When you're dealing with a cold and need to preserve your voice for an interview, hydration is key. Drink plenty of water and herbal teas to keep your vocal cords moist. Avoid caffeine and alcohol as they can dehydrate you. Warm up your voice gently with some light humming or soft singing. This can help loosen up your vocal cords without straining them. Another tip is to speak from your diaphragm rather than your throat. This technique reduces the strain on your vocal cords. Also, try to rest your voice as much as possible before the interview. Whispering can actually be more straining than speaking softly, as it can cause more tension. Instead, speak softly and clearly. During the interview, keep a glass of water nearby and take small sips to keep your throat lubricated. If you feel your voice starting to strain, pause and take a deep breath before continuing. After the interview, give your voice a rest. Avoid talking unnecessarily and continue to stay hydrated. What specific part of the interview are you most concerned about? Would you like to practice a few questions together to build your confidence?
Okay, so that answer was shorter. I don't know if that you got 120 words, but it was definitely shorter than the previous answer, which was you talked for about 4 minutes, and now you talked for a little over 1 minute. So I am seeing the ability to adjust timing. So that part is nice. So TJ, I want you to tell me what you know about how people who are in the communications business who make social media can do a better job. Because when I look at a lot of famous communication skills companies, I won't mention them by name, but famous companies devoted to helping people with communication skills, they really don't have much traction on their social media videos, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, other places. In fact, most communications consultants who teach people about how to communicate effectively don't appeal or appear to really be good at it when it comes to communicating by speaking on social media video. Why do you think that is? What's the disconnect?
The disconnect often lies in the adaptation to the medium. Many communication experts excel in traditional formats like speeches or workshops, but struggle to translate that into engaging social media content. Social media demands brevity, visual appeal, and immediate engagement. For instance, on platforms like TikTok or Instagram, you need to capture attention within the first few seconds. This means starting with a hook that grabs the viewer's interest right away. Additionally, breaking down longer content into bite-sized, digestible pieces can make it more appealing. Another factor is the authenticity and relatability of the content. People on social media want to see real people sharing real experiences. If the content feels too polished or rehearsed, it can come off as inauthentic. Moreover, leveraging trends and using platform-specific features like hashtags, challenges, and duets can significantly boost visibility and engagement. Finally, consistency is key. Posting regularly and interacting with your audience builds a loyal following over time. What specific aspect of social media content creation are you most interested in improving? Would you like to practice creating a short, engaging video script together?
Now, TJ, you're saying come across as authentic and real, and yet I just heard you use the word moreover. That's something the real TJ Walker never says. And I know because I personally programmed you to not use the word moreover. So why are you using sort of an artificial AI sounding word like moreover?
You're absolutely right. Using words like moreover can come off as artificial and not in line with my usual style. Authenticity is about being true to your own voice and mannerisms. It's crucial to communicate in a way that feels natural to you and resonates with your audience. Let's focus on creating content that feels genuine and relatable. How about we work on a short video script together? We can start with a topic you're passionate about and craft it in a way that highlights your authentic voice. What topic would you like to tackle first?
Okay, TJ, we're going to switch gears. I'm going to go to a different clone. This is a TJ Walker clone that specializes in personal development. So let's bring on this clone. And I've just changed the settings so that it's going to give long and thorough answers. I'm doing that selfishly because I have a cold today. It's difficult for me to speak, and I'm trying to preserve my voice for an interview I'll be doing with the well-known and renowned journalist Bob Berkowitz in the next hour. So we're going to go to my personal development clone. Now, those of you just joining me wondering what is TJ talking about, I have cloned my ideas. So everything I've ever said in a book, you see books around me, everything I've said on a YouTube video, everything I've ever said in an online video-based course has been ingested into a database, and it's been processed through artificial intelligence, and it then spits out answers based on word patterns in a way that seemingly is very coherent and makes a lot of sense most of the time. I'm still testing it and refining it. So I have created sort of 5 different versions of my brain. One of them is to help people with communication skills. One of them is to help people build stronger habits. One of them is to help people just with media skills. One of them is to help with personal development, and one is specific to helping me with the sales process. Someone comes to my website, has a question about a workshop, a fee, how much does it cost, a seminar. They can answer all of those questions. So let's hop right in and ask my personal development clone a question or two, and we'll test it.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you improve your personal development skills?
TJ, there are a lot of personal development experts out there. Brendan Bouchard, Anthony Robbins, Mel Robbins. There's so many good ones out there. They all seem like they have good advice, and there's been an explosion of personal development gurus in the last 30 years. And yet, when I look at the world, it seems like the world has more depression than ever. There's more obesity than ever. There's more personal debt than ever. The average American has less in savings. After all these financial gurus give people advice, the average American is less physically fit than 30 years ago. So is it fair to say at some level, no matter how good the advice is from the personal development world, it's not working? And if so, what's the problem? What's the disconnect as you see it?
The disconnect isn't necessarily in the quality of the advice given by personal development experts. Many of them, like Anthony Robbins and Brendan Burchard, offer valuable insights. The real issue lies in the implementation and the overwhelming counter messages people receive daily. Think about it. While you're reading a book on personal development, you're also bombarded with advertisements encouraging you to eat junk food, spend money you don't have, and indulge in unhealthy habits. The key to overcoming this is consistency and creating an environment that supports your goals. It's not enough to read a book or attend a seminar. You have to integrate those lessons into your daily life and reinforce them constantly. For example, if you want to improve your health, you need to make small, consistent changes like drinking one fewer soda each day. What specific area of your life are you looking to improve right now? Let's focus on one actionable step you can take today to start making a positive change.
A fair question, TJ, but I want to hear more from you. I want to know, I want you to speak as long as possible. Give me your full 600 word limit, really analyzing what is wrong with the personal development world as it currently exists in terms of the gurus out there, their online programs, their books, their courses. What's not working? Because at some level, you have to judge a treatment by its results. And when I look at the average American the last 30 years, again, they have less savings, they're less physically fit. They don't seem like they are filled with more purpose in their life and their career. So something isn't working. I want you to give me as much detail as you can. And don't ask me questions at the end. Just give me your full analysis of what's wrong with the personal development world as it currently exists.
The personal development world is indeed filled with a plethora of gurus, online programs, books, and courses. Yet, despite the abundance of resources, many people still struggle with savings, fitness, and purpose. This paradox can be attributed to several key issues. First, the sheer volume of information can be overwhelming. With so many voices offering advice, it becomes difficult for individuals to discern which path to follow. This leads to a phenomenon known as analysis paralysis, where people consume content endlessly without taking actionable steps. The result is a cycle of consumption without implementation, leaving individuals stuck in the same place they started. Second, the personal development industry often focuses on short-term motivation rather than long-term transformation. Many programs and seminars are designed to provide a quick boost of inspiration, but they lack the follow-up necessary to ensure lasting change. People leave these events feeling pumped up, but without a concrete plan or support system. They quickly revert to old habits. The initial excitement fades, and the promised transformation never materializes. Third, there is a disconnect between the advice given and the realities of daily life. Personal development gurus often present idealized versions of success that are difficult to achieve in the real world. They may advocate for drastic lifestyle changes that are impractical for the average person. For example, quitting your job to pursue your passion sounds enticing, but it's not feasible for someone with financial responsibilities. This gap between theory and practice leads to frustration and disillusionment. Fourth, the influence of advertising and societal pressures cannot be underestimated. While personal development content encourages positive habits, individuals are simultaneously bombarded with messages promoting instant gratification. Advertisements for junk food, luxury items, and quick fixes are pervasive, creating a constant tug of war between long-term goals and short-term desires. This external noise drowns out the internal drive for self-improvement. Fifth, there is a lack of personalized guidance. Many personal development programs adopt a one-size-fits-all approach, failing to account for individual differences. What works for one person may not work for another. Effective personal development requires a tailored approach that considers an individual's unique circumstances, strengths, and weaknesses. Without this customization, people struggle to apply generic advice to their specific situations. Sixth, the emphasis on perfection can be paralyzing. Personal development often promotes an idealized version of success that feels unattainable. This perfectionism can lead to a fear of failure, causing individuals to avoid taking risks or trying new things. The pressure to be perfect stifles growth and prevents people from making incremental progress. Seventh, There is a tendency to focus on external achievements rather than internal growth. Many personal development programs emphasize material success, such as wealth and status, over emotional and psychological well being. This external focus can lead to a hollow sense of accomplishment, where individuals achieve their goals but still feel unfulfilled. True personal development should prioritize inner growth and self awareness, fostering a sense of purpose and contentment. Eighth, the commercial nature of the personal development industry can sometimes undermine its integrity. With the rise of social media, many self proclaimed gurus prioritize building their brand over delivering genuine value. This commercialization can lead to a focus on selling products and services rather than fostering real growth. The emphasis on monetization can dilute the quality of the content, making it more about profit than personal transformation. Ninth, the lack of accountability is a significant barrier to success. Personal development oven requires consistent effort and discipline, but without someone to hold you accountable, it's easy to fall off track. Many programs lack mechanisms for ongoing support and accountability, leaving individuals to navigate their journey alone. This isolation can lead to a loss of motivation and direction. Finally, the societal stigma around self improvement can be a deterrent. Despite the growing popularity of personal development, there is still a lingering perception that seeking help or striving for self improvement is a sign of weakness. This stigma can prevent individuals from fully engaging with personal development resources and embracing the changes they need to make. In conclusion, while the personal development industry offers valuable insights and tools, its effectiveness is often hampered by information overload, short term focus, impractical advice, external pressures, lack of personalization, perfectionism, external achievement focus, commercialization, lack of accountability, and societal stigma. To truly benefit from personal development, individuals need to commit to consistent long-term efforts, seek personalized guidance, and create environments that support their goals. The journey to self-improvement is not a quick fix, but a lifelong process of growth and learning.
So, TJ, that was pretty good stuff. Since you are both a communications expert and a personal development expert, let me ask you about how to deal with a very difficult, touchy issue. Yes, from a purely medical standpoint, in the United States and a lot of the Western world, there's an epidemic of obesity. There's an estimated 500 million people in the world today with diabetes. Most scientists and medical experts would say it is because of the consumption of processed food, the the radical increase of sugar and processed sugar, artificial processed sugar intake by people, and it is shortening lives, sometimes 6, sometimes as many as 10 years. So there's pretty much a consensus medically that this is a big problem. There's pretty much a consensus on the source of the problem. However, if you are a personal development expert or a doctor or a nurse or a counselor of any sort, it's very difficult talking to someone about this issue because you can be accused of fat shaming, of being insensitive, of being someone who's trying to impose a one size fits all world. How do you suggest, let's just pick the niche of healthcare providers. How would you suggest healthcare providers talk to patients who are overweight, who are obese, who are either diabetic or close to being diabetic in a sensitive way? Because we do live in a world now where some people consider it inappropriate to even use the word fat or overweight, or even obesity in some circles is considered not a valid word to use. How do you respond?
Addressing obesity and related health issues is indeed a delicate matter, especially in today's climate where sensitivity is paramount. Healthcare providers need to approach this topic with a blend of empathy, respect, and practicality. Here are some strategies that can help. First, focus on health rather than weight. Instead of using terms like obese or overweight, which can be stigmatizing, emphasize the importance of overall health and well-being. For instance, you might say, let's work on improving your energy levels and reducing your risk of diabetes. Second, use motivational interviewing techniques. This involves asking open-ended questions that encourage patients to talk about their health goals and the changes they are willing to make. For example, what are some small steps you think you could take to improve your diet? Third, provide personalized and realistic advice. Tailor your recommendations to the individual's lifestyle and preferences. Suggesting small, manageable changes like reducing soda intake or incorporating more vegetables into meals can be more effective than advocating for drastic overhauls. Fourth, create a supportive environment. Encourage patients by celebrating their progress, no matter how small. Positive reinforcement can build confidence and motivation. For example, it's great that you've started walking more. How can we build on that success? Fifth, address the emotional aspects. Acknowledge that making lifestyle changes can be challenging and that it's okay to seek support from friends, family, or a counselor. This can help patients feel understood and less isolated in their journey. Finally, be a role model. Healthcare providers who practice healthy habits themselves can inspire their patients. Sharing personal experiences and challenges can make the advice more relatable and credible. What is one small actionable step you think you could take today to improve your health or communication skills? Let's focus on that and see how it goes.
All right, TJ, those are pretty good tips. I do appreciate that. By the way, if you're just joining us, I'm TJ Walker. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel. We're all about helping you become more successful by boosting your communication skills and your confidence in your communication skills. And we also help you with other aspects of personal development too. So if you're just joining us, thanks so much. We are here live, typically here live 9 to noon Eastern Time, Monday through Thursday. We do take your questions, your calls, your text, however you want to communicate. You can push the button on StreamYard to talk to me directly, to talk to my clone today. Later on, you'll be able to speak to my guest, Bob Berkowitz, the renowned journalist and talk show host. And we are experimenting right now in this segment on how artificial intelligence can be used to help creatives, whether you're a talk show host, an author, an expert, a tutor, a trainer, a speaker. You are creating, you're in a field, you could be a novelist, you could be a playwright. So many people have to create. Now, if you're a startup founder, you got to be a
Absolutely.
creator too. You're creating something out of nothing. You're creating a business out of just a concept. So virtually everyone these days is a creator at some level, unless you're doing a purely rote mechanical service, digging a ditch, for example. But even that, if you have a ditch digging business, you're going to get requests for proposals. You can use artificial intelligence on how to streamline and automate and be more efficient giving proposals. So you can make the case that virtually everyone has the ability to use artificial intelligence to improve what they do, to streamline what they do, to make what they do more efficient, more profitable for themselves and others. So I'm in the process of trying to figure out how to make artificial intelligence help my own business and help you too. So we're going to switch gears. We're going to go to another artificial intelligence clone of mine. We were just speaking to the personal development one. We're now going to speak to the communication skills artificial intelligence clone. I've got a question that I don't know the answer to. I'm hoping if it can access everything I've ever thought and perhaps it can extrapolate new insights that could be helpful.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively? Artificial intelligence has the potential to revolutionize how we communicate and operate in our
I've got two
businesses.
clones going on.
Imagine having a digital
Excuse
clone
me.
that can handle.
Okay.
No problem at all. Whenever you're ready, I'm here to help you enhance your communication skills and boost your
Okay.
confidence. What specific area of communication are you looking to improve today?
Okay, so TJ, what I'm looking to do is to improve my ability to communicate with my online students using the tool of artificial intelligence and a digital clone. I have about 200 online courses that relate to communication skills and personal development skills. I want to integrate you, my artificial intelligence clone, into all of these courses. And I want to make sure I do it in a way that's meaningful, that doesn't confuse people, that seems natural and organic. So, what I was thinking of doing, and I want your feedback on what would be the best practice, is let's say my course, my complete communication skills course on a major platform. It has about 600 video based lectures. What I was planning on doing is after about the third or fourth lecture, having a headline saying something to the effect of good news, course update. Now you can get instant answers to all your questions. And then going to a page that just in text says, we now have a digital clone companion for this course. You can ask the clone any question about, in this case, communication skills. It will answer instantly. You can practice your presentations with the clone right now. Here's the link, and there's no charge. And furthermore, you don't have to give a name or an email. It can be done anonymously. So we're trying to make it really easy for you. So my thought was, out of 600 lectures, I would put one right there after about the third or fourth lecture, and then another one after the first time I ask my students to do a practice speech or video where they record themselves, reminding them that, hey, you can rehearse with the TJ Walker clone and it will give you instant feedback. Now, I'm trying to reassure people they could still get feedback from me, the real TJ, but that could be 24, 48 hours. You know, someone posts a video for me to critique at 5 p.m. their time on a Friday afternoon, but it's already 8 p.m. my time. I might not be able to look at it for a couple of days and give them feedback. Whereas if they go to my clone, it's instant feedback. And then I was going to have another reminder maybe halfway through the course when I ask people to do another rehearsal. And then at the end of the course, the very last lecture, where the custom is you can sort of be promotional about anything else you do. At that point, I try to really encourage people to sign up for my clone, to get free access to it, and to use it as a way of enhancing everything they learned in the course, as a way of accessing any knowledge they ever learned in the course, something that they could take with them really for the rest of their life. That's my thought. I'm wondering if you can give me other advice on how you think the best way, what the best practices would be to integrate my digital clone into my digital video based online courses.
Your plan sounds solid and well thought out. Integrating the digital clone at strategic points in your course is a great way to enhance the learning experience. Here are a few additional suggestions to make the integration even more impactful. First, consider creating an introductory video where you personally introduce the concept of the digital clone. Explain how it works, the benefits, and how students can use it to get the most out of their learning experience. This personal touch can help demystify the technology and make students feel more comfortable using it. Second, think about embedding short interactive exercises within the lectures themselves. For example, after explaining a key concept, prompt students to pause the video and interact with the clone to practice what they've just learned. This immediate application can reinforce learning and make the experience more engaging.
Hey, TJ
Third,
Clone, if you could
leverage the
pause,
clone's ability
TJ
to
Clone, if
provide
you could pause for 1 second. And just a moment, I'm going to want you to pick up from there and continue your answer. But I want to say hello to Juan. Juan, we'll be right with you. We want to hear from you in just a moment, but I do want to hear the rest of our clones answer. Just wanted to recognize you and thanks for stopping by. TJ Clone, please continue with your answer on this topic.
Absolutely. Let's continue. Leveraging the clone's ability to provide personalized feedback is a game changer. Imagine embedding short interactive exercises within the lectures themselves. For example, after explaining a key concept, prompt students to pause the video and interact with the clone to practice what they've just learned. This immediate application can reinforce learning and make the experience more engaging. Additionally, consider using the clone to handle routine inquiries and provide consistent training. This can free up your time to focus on more strategic tasks while still offering high quality interactions for your students. By integrating the clone into your existing workflow, you can ensure that your expertise is accessible anytime, anywhere. Now, let's think about how you can make this integration even more seamless. What specific area of your communication or personal development would you like to focus on next?
Okay, TJ, thanks for those tips. Very helpful. Let's bring on Juan now. Juan, how are you today? Juan, can you hear me?
Juan, it's
Juan, if you could mute your
Juan, it's
mic and
great to
then
have you here.
unmute
How are you
it.
doing today? We're eager.
I'm gonna turn off my clone a second there. Juan, if you could unmute and then, excuse me, mute and then unmute. I'm not hearing you yet. Now go ahead and say something. Yeah, unfortunately, we're just not hearing anything, and I don't know why, because it appears as though I'm gonna mute and then unmute. Okay. Let's Okay. Juan is going to check in a minute. You know, part of the challenge of communicating digitally is it is in some ways harder than just writing a letter or sending a text. Text is pretty simple and straightforward. It's why we all still use text. And I text family members and friends every day. It's in some ways the lowest tech way. But there is something more powerful when people can hear your voice, see your face, see your expressions. But there's no doubt there's more complexity because with audio, with video, it only takes one little mistake to not have a setting the right way. You can have your mic on, but you can have it so your setting is not pulling from that microphone. So, on the other thing I would ask is if you look at the bottom of your screen where you're in StreamYard and check settings, click the audio setting and make sure it's pulling from your microphone, I guess from your headset now, or whatever microphone you're using. Because I know I've done this where I think everything is great. I can hear myself, but my StreamYard or my computer is pulling from the microphone from my headset, and my headset is closed over in the corner. So it doesn't work. So, Juan, you want to give it a try again? Can you say something? Yeah, so we're not hearing anything. I would ask you, you may need to check the settings on your computer, but also check the settings in the bottom of your page on StreamYard. So I'm clicking mine now. It then sets up general camera audio. I click audio, and then I'm looking at microphone. And in my case, it says default microphone H5, which is my powerful Sennheiser microphone that is about 18 inches away, so that I know it is in fact working. Have you been able to do that? If so, do a thumbs up. So we're still having technical difficulties. You know, while we're doing that, let's make this a learning moment. I'm going to ask the TJ clone, what are things to think about when working with your microphone, trying to make sure everything works just right? And one, continue experimenting and
Hi,
keep
I'm
talking.
TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
Probando.
Juan, I think we just heard you. I'm gonna turn
Okay.
off my clone. There we go. We got you. Great. All right. So Juan, how are you today?
I'm doing good. TJ, thank you for allowing me to talk to you through this chat.
Sure. I'm gonna put my extra. I'm having a little bit difficulty hearing you, so I'm gonna actually use my
Okay.
second earpiece, and that will make it a little easier for me to hear. So Juan, tell us where are you today, and what are you working on in your own professional journey?
Well, I'm living in Salt Lake City. I'm working right now at the mine. I'm driving haul trucks, the big haul truck, like little, the big that you need to climb through the stairs and get to um, like your your seat and drive. I was working in communication maybe 7 years ago, and
Mhm.
always passionate it. I like it. I was studying from you like 7 years ago.
Oh,
Did
great.
a couple courses, yeah, like media training, crisis, and this year I kind of set a goal to build my own brand and working collaborate with people that I really learned before. So that's why I'm
Apologies for interrupting, but I'm always intrigued when people use that phrase. What do you mean building a brand for yourself?
I just wanna show my experience and how I apply that experience through my values, which is I really like teach, encourage people to be better, and I just wanna do that. I really like how communication improved my life, and I mean I'm kind of example. I learning another language and how that is significant in my life.
Well, that's great to commit to lifelong learning. What is your ultimate goal as a communicator, but also what do you want to be doing professionally? We all have 8 hours a night we need to sleep. We got another 8 hours between taking care of family stuff, eating or going out to eat, cooking, shopping. There is time for professional activity to try to help the world and help ourselves make money. What is your ideal vision for how you spend that time?
Ideal vision is work uh, during the morning and whatever place I can. I mean, I would like to work online remotely and be able to set a schedule every month and to set my own terms as far as providing service to clients. And I really like travel, and I want to be able to provide that opportunity to my family too. And just I picture like if I go someplace out of the U.S., I can bring my family and I can work well. They are they are knowing traveling with me, and yeah, that's pretty much right
Okay.
now.
So I think it's great that you have a specific vision of the life you want. I think that's fantastic. I applaud it. What I'd ask you to do now is let's go 180 degrees the other direction and look at this through the lens of your clients, customers, anyone you want to actually pay you. Because I think I have some of the best clients in the world, fantastic people, fantastic human beings. But I can tell you, none of them care about my lifestyle. None of them care about the fact that I can make my own agenda, my own schedule, my own travel. That's and they're not bad people. It's just none of them care about that. What they care about is, okay, TJ's the guy who can help me go from an average speaker to a great speaker. TJ's the guy who can help me go from being horrible in that last media interview to being great getting the sound bites I want. TJ's the guy who can help the audience at our convention go from being bored and saying, "Why am I here?" to really being energized because he gave a great keynote speech. So, what I want you to do now is look at your career through the lens of your customers, your clients, what value are you delivering to them? Because once you figure out that, these other good things about controlling your schedule, traveling, working, all of
Mm.
that can come into place. But the first piece of the puzzle is really figuring out what value are you providing to people who are willing to say, oh, not only is that interesting, not only is that useful, but that's so valuable. I'm going to reach into my pocket, pull out my wallet, and hand Juan my credit card or a check or money. That's the starting point. So tell me, what is it you're actually going to do for people? And who are they? What is the need they have? What's the problem they have that you want to solve?
I believe that right now there's a lot of noise in internet media. I believe there's a lot of value in people that they don't know how show that. And I think that I can help to minimize, well, not minimize the noise. It's just surf that wave of noise to put the people's ideas, product, and message out there.
Mhm. And how can you do that? What skills, what unique system do you have to help people do that?
Training with communication, training to know how to talk in front of cameras, training to how put your message out there, training. It doesn't matter how tough can be the question. I will train you to have the message appropriate for the audience that you're looking for. If you're a
Okay,
pro
so you're
athlete,
I just wanna make sure I'm understanding, so you are specifically saying you want to do media training for people, correct?
that's correct.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so tell me the profile of someone who you think is going to not only need your service, but want your service, have the ability to pay for your service, and be willing to pay for your service. Tell me who this is because it is a market I'm obviously familiar with since I do media training. And hey, it's a big world. There's plenty to go around. So tell me what's driving them, right? Because I'll just share with you my own perspective. Quite often, what drives someone to call me is they all of a sudden have a new book out and they know they want to go on the Today Show and talk about it and promote it. They want to go on a Tim Ferriss podcast to promote their book. And they've either never done interviews or it's been a while or they feel like they're only so with interviews. So they go online, they type in media training, 300 billion websites come up. They go to the first page, and mine is typically, if not number one or two, it's on the first page. And they write to five of these websites and say, hey, I need media training, send me a proposal. That's how I get into their system, their world. That's how they get into my funnel. Ideally, we have a call and we talk to them. Tell me about who your ideal prospect is and how do they find you?
My ideal prospect is going through professional athletes who have exposure to media, who have like a strong sponsorship, who support them, or they want to not, to touch that opportunity to be sponsored by brands.
Mm-hmm.
Other niche that I'm looking for is politicians, like was my initial experience working with politicians. I know
Okay.
they've been struggle. Always struggle. Doesn't matter the country to communicate their message. And entrepreneurs, which is outdoors, which is people who is throwing a new business out there. They like with all these noises, they want kind of somebody who coached them to organize all the message instead of just talking about the details or describe the
Mm.
business, just how through their service or their product can
Okay.
uh,
So
you know
let's break down one at a time. I do think it is a smart idea to try to specialize and target and really be dominant in a specific industry where people feel like they have similar problems, similar media, similar audiences. So the first one you mentioned was professional athletes. So have you, and believe me, I'm not a professional athlete. If anyone had seen me this past weekend on the outdoor water course with my daughter, you would know I'm not a professional athlete. So, have you been a professional or high level athlete? And if not, that's okay. Have you worked specifically with athletes before? And if not, that's not a deal breaker. I just want to get a sense of the starting point.
yes, I did. I had experience with athletes and not like a high level, but I've been collaborating with an athlete which is my friend too, and I help her like couple years with her communication, and she liked it. She felt more comfortable, and she be even before I start collaborate with her. She have this natural charisma that to teach to audience, teach a student, provide you, like teaching. So it was kind of easy to work with her. Well, I don't want to say easy. I just want to say was a lot of flow to was kind of I feel comfortable. She feel comfortable. So I provide her a few techniques that help her, and she's amazing right now. And I
And
just
I just wanna make sure I'm understanding properly. Are you helping her, for example, uh, speak on Facebook or speak on YouTube or perhaps do endorsements for products in social media where she's speaking on camera? Have you helped her in that regard?
I help her in that regard. Yeah, she just like not like actually like a training session with cameras to go through, like the posture, the voice, the volume, all that. It was more tips, hey, do this, because was more informal situation, but uh, along the time, I just help her more specific, like sending her documents, and that's
So here's a
my
tip. I mean, here's a thought I do have for you that I think is a good opportunity because there are a lot of high school athletes out there now where they're really good at a sport. And apologies if what I'm going to say is offensive to anyone. It's not in any way meant to demean anyone's athletic prowess. But there are a lot of young people at college level and high school level who are really good at a sport, but also happen to be really good looking. And they are attracting huge audiences in social media with videos and pictures of them practicing their craft of their sport, but also talking about, what sports drinks they like. And I'm not an advocate of sports drinks, and talking about their exercise routine, their training routine. And caveat: few people know less about college sports in America than I do, but I do know there's been a transformation of college athletes being able to monetize and benefit from their own social media and their influencer deals. So there's a huge market for that. And you could, for example, do an online course that is so specific that it's media training for high school athletes aspiring to be an influencer.
mm,
Be that specialized,
yeah,
that niche. Keep your day job, but also be doing this at night, evenings, creating a whole video based course, attracting people, and maybe you give it away for free just to build a pipeline and to build a track record of people who say, yeah, Juan really helped me. When I came to Juan, was making zero money and I had 5 Facebook followers. After working with Juan for a year, I had 200 followers and I was making $7,200 a month. If you could start building a track record like that, then you got a marketable niche.
yeah,
And you always got to look at how can you differentiate yourself, because while we're friendly here, at some level we're competitors. The advantage you have over me is you appear to be many decades younger than I am. So uh, someone who's a 17-year-old high school athlete might say, "Well, what do I want to deal with this old, you know, look at this old wrinkled guy. I don't want to deal with him. I'd much rather deal with one." I just be candid here. I want to help you. There's a big enough pie for everyone to have a bigger piece of the pie.
yeah,
So that may be a great market for you, is targeting. It sounds predatory. I don't mean that. I mean it in a way of helping people, but targeting high school, maybe even middle school athletes who like to talk about their sport, like to talk about their training routines, and are completely confident in every other aspect of life, but are simply uncomfortable about, how do I look at a camera and talk?
yeah, yes,
Here's
yes,
what I
yes.
want to do. I'm going to ask my clone to interview you about this subject, and let's see if we can figure out a way that it can be more helpful. I will tell you that if you stop to interrupt, you sometimes have to talk over the clone for about 5 minutes before it stops talking. But I want to see if it can give you any more insight. So we're going to bring the clone back in and see if it can give you some tips. Now I'm doing this selfishly for two reasons. Number one, I want to test my clone. Versus three reasons. Number one, I want to test my clone. Number two, I want to help you. Number three, I've got a cold and I'm really need more water. I'm going to step out and filter some more water and come back. So being completely transparent here. So we're
Hey,
going to call
TJ, can I add something before you?
yes.
Well, I feel this session have a value like I can't even put in no money just to have this opportunity to talk with you one on one. And I mean, I'm earning here too.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks a lot. And I'm learning from you as well. So it's a win-win situation. I appreciate the kind comment. So I'm going to bring our clone on and I'm going to ask the clone to interview you to
Yeah.
try to help essentially do it. I won't say interview. I wanted to do a coaching session with you
Okay.
to figure out how we can really get you positioned to really start making money and helping people.
Yeah.
That's the goal, right?
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
TJ, I'm here with my colleague Juan Jimenez, and he is an aspiring media trainer. He would like to focus specifically on on targeting high school athletes and college athletes who aspire to be influencers and to be able to speak on camera and to really explore that marketplace. So he's interested in any tips, tricks, tools you have of how he can start positioning himself, what he can do in the media. Should he make online courses on this subject? Should he be blogging about it? Should he be doing TikTok because that's popular with young people? I'd really like you to give him a complete, as much detailed insights, a strategy map on what he should do. I'd like you to talk for the next 6 minutes. Give us 600 words of content on this subject. And then I would like you to ask him a whole series of follow up questions, coaching him. And Juan, I just realized I'm not sure if my clone can hear it from you. It may be that I will have to repeat the question. So that's why I've asked it to talk for 6 minutes. So I am going to step off. It's going to try to talk for 6 minutes, but I will be back and we'll pick up from there. Okay, now, TJ Clone, if you could begin this coaching session right now, first with the overview of every single thing you think Juan could do to start his media training business. And I want you to pull specifically from your knowledge base from the How to Be a Media Trainer online course that you have taught, and then follow up with questions for Juan. Please start now, TJ Clone.
Juan, targeting high school and college athletes who aspire to be influencers is a fantastic niche. Let's dive into a comprehensive strategy to position yourself effectively in this market. First, establish your online presence. Create a professional website that highlights your expertise in media training, specifically tailored for young athletes. Include testimonials, case studies, and a blog where you share valuable insights on media training, public speaking, and personal branding. Next, leverage social media platforms popular with your target audience. TikTok is a must, given its popularity among younger demographics. Create short, engaging videos that offer quick tips on speaking confidently on camera, handling interviews, and building a personal brand. Use trending hashtags to increase visibility. Consider developing an online course. Platforms like Teachable or Udemy can help you reach a broader audience. Your course should cover the fundamentals of media training, including how to speak on camera, handle interviews, and create engaging content. Offer practical exercises and real world examples to make the learning experience interactive and valuable. Blogging is another powerful tool. Regularly publish articles on topics relevant to your audience, such as top tips for athletes to shine on social media, or how to ace your first media interview. This not only positions you as an expert, but also improves your website's SEO, driving more traffic to your site. Networking is crucial. Connect with coaches, athletic directors, and sports organizations. Offer free workshops or webinars to introduce your services and demonstrate your expertise. Building relationships within the sports community can lead to referrals and long-term partnerships. Don't overlook traditional media. Pitch stories to local newspapers, sports magazines, and online publications about the importance of media training for young athletes. Position yourself as a thought leader in this space. Now let's talk about content creation. Consistency is key. Post regularly on your social media channels, blog, and YouTube. Share success stories of athletes you've trained, behind the scenes looks at your training sessions, and tips for aspiring influencers. Engage with your audience by responding to comments and messages. Finally, measure your success. Use analytics tools to track your website traffic, social media engagement, and course enrollments. Adjust your strategy based on what's working and what's not. Juan, what specific challenges do you anticipate in targeting high school and college athletes? How do you plan to differentiate yourself from other media trainers in this niche? Let's discuss your thoughts and refine your strategy further.
Okay, Juan, ask the question. I'm not sure if the clone can hear you, but ask. And if it can't, then I will restate it.
Clone. My
Juan, go ahead and ask your question. If I can't hear it directly, your colleague will restate it for me. Let's make sure we address any specific concerns or challenges you have in targeting high school and college athletes for media training.
I think it's a new product for this niche. Although I think the challenging where I can find is let them know that this is a need because they're young age. I think they don't see this as a need or something that they need to do this as a long-term career. So I believe to put this service as a need to this niche could be challenging.
Okay, so it didn't hear it. So I'm going to restate the question. We're going to call it back, which is fine. But I'm going to go ahead and call the clone again. So I'm going to ask that question.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you communicate more effectively?
So Juan, TJ's clone, we're trying to help Juan start his media training business. He's interested in targeting high school students, college students who are excellent athletes and are trying to make money off their likeness and their image through social media, through influencer brand deals, and by speaking out in social media. His concern is a lot of them don't even realize they need training and that there's so much money from this. How can he try to help educate this market to realize the need for media training?
To help Juan educate high school and college athletes about the need for media training, he should start by showcasing the tangible benefits. He can create compelling content that highlights success stories of athletes who have leveraged media training to secure lucrative deals and build strong personal brands. For instance, he could produce short videos or social media posts featuring athletes who have successfully monetized their image and likeness, emphasizing how media training played a crucial role in their success. These stories should focus on real-world outcomes, such as increased sponsorship deals, higher social media engagement, and enhanced public speaking skills. Additionally, Juan can host free webinars or workshops specifically tailored to young athletes. During these sessions, he can demonstrate practical media training techniques and offer a glimpse into how these skills can translate into financial opportunities. By providing a taste of the training, he can spark interest and show the immediate value. Another effective strategy is to partner with schools, sports teams, and athletic programs to offer introductory media training sessions. This way, he can reach athletes directly in their environment and make a compelling case for the importance of these skills. Juan should also leverage social proof by getting endorsements from well-known athletes who have benefited from media training. These endorsements can be shared on social media, websites, and promotional materials to build credibility and trust. What specific success stories or examples do you think would resonate most with these young athletes? Let's brainstorm some ideas together.
So one, I think that there are some good ideas there that I'd forgotten about. But I mean, that's part of the advantage of a clone is it does not forget things. One way of sort of jump starting your business would be to take the person you've already worked with, your friend who is an athlete, and ask her if you could interview her in a live webinar about her successes and about her speaking out in social media and what she does, and then promote that as a free webinar. You could just go to your own local community high schools and say, here's this free webinar. It's from someone already known in our community, if she's in your community, and reach out to coaches and their maybe parents if you know them, and just try to generate interest that way by putting it out there as free. That's one idea. The other idea that the clone mentioned that I think is a good idea is donate your services to a high school or even a middle school in your town. I mean, middle school may be tough because there may be a lot of parents who really do not want their kids on social media. There could be that issue for high school too. And maybe you're better off picking a college, a junior college, even a community college, and going after athletes and offering to put on a free in-person workshop and create an alliance with a coach to kind of jumpstart, because you are talking about something new. And I will tell you from firsthand experience, when you're creating a sort of a new concept, it's so much harder than meeting an existing market where people already know about the solution. They know their providers, they know what they want, and they're looking for pricing. You're talking in some way about something new. I'm not trying to dissuade you from doing it, but it is a harder challenge. It's a bigger hurdle to get over. So that's something to try. What do you think? And again, you could do that on a weekend, keep your day job, because starting a new business like this can take quite a while to really ramp up to get to the point where it can give you a sustainable income. What are your thoughts about those two ideas?
I'm like impressed. I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing the how powerful can be a conversation, and go through the your clone, uh, bring all this great ideas that I'm gonna definitely work on. Gonna,
Hmm.
gonna do everything you are suggesting. I take a few notes about what the clone said, and yeah, I think it's amazing. I think I'll try to do that, TJ.
I mean, what do you think the biggest opportunities are for young people today? I mean, I think of it as being an influencer, but I mean, there's always the more traditional track of you're a star athlete one day, you're good at being interviewed, and then you migrate to the point where you're interviewing people after your playing days. I mean, I remember going out in it was a college formal. This was 1983 probably, and I was on a going to a college formal. It was I had a date. There was two other guys with dates, and all the women at the table were staring and gawking at the one guy. I was completely invisible. I could have stood on the table, lit my hair on fire, no one would have noticed me. And they were all asking him if he was planning on being a professional basketball player. And he said, no, no, my real goal is to be a broadcaster. And he had a voice that just made me sound like Pee Wee Herman. He had this deep, resonant, rich voice. And he knew at that time, as a 18, 19-year-old young man, that his long-term career was being as a broadcaster. And I lost. I mean, we were never good friends or anything. I'd lost touch with him. And then I'm looking on ESPN one day, and there he is, Jay Billis, who's now had a career for, I don't know, 30 years as a network TV analyst, much longer than most people have pro basketball careers. So, I mean, that's one track of people who know they want to be network TV analysts, network TV stars. But the much wider option is for people who want to be influencers. So I want you to think about that. Our next guest has arrived, Juan. So very happy you're with us. Happy you helped test out the AI today. So thanks so much for doing that. Very much appreciate it. Juan, we're going to say goodbye for now, but stay tuned and listen to our next guest, Bob Berkowitz. Very much appreciate you being with us. And the great Bob Berkowitz is with us. How are you
Hey
today?
TJ. Hey TJ, how you doing?
Fantastic. So we're doing what we call sort of our pre-interview right now.
Okay.
We're going to be editing this together for sort of a produced, slick video podcast, YouTube video, pulling the audio out for audio podcast. So this is not what people will see in the finished show. This
Okay.
is sort of our pre-interview, even though we are live on 8 different social media platforms right now. So what I like to do in our pre-interview session, even though typically people do it off camera, we're on camera today, is I want to ask you, what do we need to do in this interview to make this truly valuable for you? Your time is valuable. We're going to be promoting your books. We're going to be promoting your online courses. But what else can we do to make this interview really valuable to you so that you would want to promote it on social media? You'd want to have it on your bio page. You'd want to have it on your media page. You would hope that your Wikipedia page would link to it. What do we need to cover here to make
I
this
think
valuable?
that
Bob, I apologize. One thing I would ask,
yeah.
your camera is shaking. Is this your
Well,
iPad?
here's the problem, TJ, is that I tried to download the app on my Mac, which would have been stable, but that didn't work out. So the only way I could do it is on my phone.
Well, when you're saying an app, the stream, you're
Whatever
talking about
the link that Lourdes or Ben sent me.
okay,
It
because
didn't
that
work on
should
my
be,
Mac.
that's just a website. So you shouldn't have to download anything. Do you want to give it a try again? Because it's not,
Okay.
there's no download involved.
Okay, hold on.
Because I want to make you look your best, sound your best.
Yeah.
And if it's
Okay, so
shaking,
here's the pre-interview. Yeah.
yeah. So let me just bring in Ben.
It
I
says
want
your
to make
browser
sure.
doesn't TJ, just stand by. Your browser doesn't support StreamYard's technology. Please visit this page on your laptop, desktop, and one of these browsers.
And I brought
Yeah.
Ben on. Ben, do you have any solution for Bob? Any thoughts on what he can do? And by the way, I know you've talked about email many, many times. Bob, here's Ben. Ben, here's Bob.
Hey, Ben.
Hi, Bob.
So we got a problem, Ben.
Okay. So I'd like you to copy the link instead of clicking it directly. Can you
Okay,
copy it and
hold on,
go
Ben.
to your browser?
The pre-interview link?
Yes, copy the link.
And for those of you just joining us, these are things you need to do for interviews, is to make sure everything works just right, which is I'm glad we're doing. This is our pre-interview. We haven't started our official interview with renowned journalist, talk show host, and communication expert Bob Berkowitz. That's going to be coming up in a few minutes. And what we're trying to do now is to really make sure we
I
have
put it in
everything
my
in
browser
sync,
and I hit
video,
return.
audio.
Let's see. Okay, it says StreamYard is for streamers. StreamYard, I'm just getting a lot of streaming links. Sponsored. What should I hit, Ben?
Did you copy the link? Just paste it on your browser.
I did, sir.
Okay.
The pre-interview link, right, Ben?
Yes, the pre-interview link.
Yeah, I did that. And then it sent me to a Google with StreamYard is for streamers, StreamYard, log in.
And this is on your desktop or your iPad?
My Mac, my MacBook Pro.
Okay.
Do you have your Google sign in on the browser?
Have you signed in on
Your
Google
Gmail.
on your browser?
On my browser. No. Hold on 1 second.
And which browser are you using? Chrome or something else?
I thought Chrome, but I'm not positive.
And Ben, is Chrome generally the best, or is it better to use Edge?
Any of them should work, but the main thing is to have your Google sign on so that you can be able to log in straight to StreamYard.
Okay, let me try. It says you just sent me another link.
No, don't use that. I think I send you so that we can meet before the interview. No.
Okay. Okay, what should I do then, Ben? I'm confused now.
Okay. Okay, go to the browser, go to streamyard.com.
Yes.
Don't copy the link yet. Just go to streamyard.com. Let's
Okay.
see.
Okay, I'm at my browser. What do I do now?
Yes, streamyard.com.
StreamYard.com. Hold on 1 second.
Yes.
No, hold on. I misspelled it. Hold on. Okay, I'm at StreamYard. Get started. It's free. Should I hit that? Or hit my
Yes,
Google account to start?
Yes, exactly. Use your Google account to go into it.
Any luck?
Hit live streaming?
No. Okay, so that means you are on, right?
I guess. And it says live streaming, recording, or webinars.
Okay, so I'll
Ben, that doesn't sound like he's in our page.
Yes, he's been able to sign on to StreamYard now.
Yes,
so
sir.
he can sign up. He has gone into StreamYard. So I will invite you to your Gmail.
Okay, I have 3 choices to hit live streaming, recording, or webinars, and then continue.
No, you just hold on. Hold on
I'm
now.
holding.
So the
I'm not going anywhere.
same link I sent to you initially, I just sent to your mail again. So you can check that now.
Re-click that link, Bob, because then it should
Okay.
send you right into our page.
So for the pre-interview, so you're already on StreamYard now. So you should be able to.
So go back to your email, I think is the best
Okay.
thing. You just click.
No, there are two links there, StreamYard.com, and the other one is also StreamYard. The first one?
Yes, the first one, it ends with
Okay.
FM. That's IPVPAKDEFM.
Okay. I again, it says your browser doesn't support StreamYard's technology. I've never had this problem, guys.
We haven't either, but that's why we test it out.
I believe you should be able to do that since you've been able to log on to StreamYard. So can you copy the last 4 digits? Okay, that's the high PV
of the link that you sent me.
Yes, of the link. The one that I think is about 7. The streamyard.com/IPVPA.
Yes.
Yes, that's high P. So I need you to copy that.
I can't do that alone. I got to copy the whole thing. I can't be.
Now the other option might be to try it on your iPad.
Hold on. I think I got. Hold on. Okay, now put that as my browser.
Yes, the same StreamYard that already worked. That the browser that worked out. So you edit the StreamYard link.
I just put the PVPAKDEFM in my browser, right?
Yes, at the back of the StreamYard link. So you just press / then the high P.
No, hold on. Okay, I'm going to go back to my link there. I apologize, guys. I'm sure I'm doing something
Oh,
wrong.
no, that's okay. It's a learning process. Let's just make this a learning moment for our audience still with us today, which is that
Stuff
part of the
happens.
reason most people are comfortable still blogging or just putting a post on Facebook is it is a lot easier than dealing with audio and video. But once you get over that initial hump of technology and communicating in audio and video, you reach so many more people. That's why some have heard this story before. About 5 years ago, I said, I could write a book on storytelling. I went to Amazon. There were 10,000 books on storytelling. I went to Amazon. I went to udemy.com, and there were 3 courses on storytelling. I said, would I rather compete with 10,000 or 3? So I did a book, excuse me, an online course on storytelling, and I competed with 3. Well, it's easy to be number 1 out of 3. It's very difficult to be number 1 or even number 200 out of 10,000. So I didn't write the book. I made the online course. Initially, it was awkward dealing with the audio and video, but long term, it really helped out. We've got Anton giving a few suggestions. Anton has said maybe if Bob can show you his screen by pointing to the camera to the laptop, you could better understand what's happening, Ben. That's a good suggestion. Let's crowdsource the solution to this and see if we come up with a solution. Cool. Thank you, Anton. Right. And Joanne, my wife Bob, is watching and says hello. And we're attracting some folks now, trying to focus on worst case scenario. We'll have you put your phone on top of your laptop so it's stable, so we don't have the movement. So we'll figure it out one way or the other.
Okay. So what am I doing now? I put my camera towards.
Yes, can you turn the camera to back camera so that we can see you?
Ben, I just got an email saying welcome to StreamYard.
Yes, you're on StreamYard.
Should I click that?
No.
Well, we still want the exact click taking us to this room. That's still the click the magic click we're looking for. Otherwise, we won't be able to communicate.
Okay, but that one is StreamYard.com/IPY blah 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 blah. And when I click that, it says I can't get in.
Don't click. I need you to copy it. Just
copy the whole
from StreamYard. No, copy from StreamYard.com. Yes, the whole link.
Yeah, I tried that before. Okay, let me try it again now. I tried that before. That's too. Okay, let me try it again. Hold on. Okay, once again, it says your browser doesn't support StreamYard's technology.
Okay, let's go. We've done plan A. Plan B, I would say, would be your iPad, and plan C will be your cell phone. Do you have your iPad around, Bob?
I don't have an iPad. I have a MacBook Pro and I have a cell phone. Okay,
let's just go to plan C. So our next job is going to be to stabilize the cell phone and angle it so that we get a good angle.
Now it is stabilized.
Because the one thing I do recommend to people is you don't want to do an interview where you're holding a cell phone. Talking to a friend or family member for Facebook for a minute is fine. But if for a long form interview, we don't want to have to do that.
It is stabilized, my friend.
Great. Now, is it possible that you can put your computer on a stack of books or something so that it's not looking up? Can we get it a little bit higher, the camera?
On a stack of books, I can get more books though. Hold on.
Okay. And Henry says, hi, Bob. Hi, Ben and TJ. I'm loving this learning moment too. I enjoy your courses on Udemy, Bob and TJ, and Ben's administration support. I love the teamwork as well.
Hold on.
So thank you, Henry. We do appreciate that.
How's that? Is that better?
Yes, but is it possible to angle the screen down so that we see your head at the top of the screen? There we go. That looks fantastic. Okay.
Right.
That's absolutely great. Okay. And Ben, are we hearing him okay coming in from there?
Can you say something else, Bob?
Sure. Say anything you want, Ben. I'm here for you.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's a bit.
It's a little
It's
faint, but
yeah,
we can try to boost it from our end.
yeah.
I can,
Okay, Ben, we'll take you off and let us know if there's anything else we need to know. Okay,
guys,
so Bob,
I can grab a microphone, but it'll take me a few minutes.
that's okay. Let's go ahead and do it. We want to make this as great
Okay.
as possible. Yeah, if you've
Great.
got a microphone that works with your camera, I mean, with your cell phone, that would be great.
I don't have it with me. I'd have to go get it, but
Yeah, let's go. That's fine. Let's go ahead. We'll just wait for you here. That's no problem. Okay. And coming up,
it does not work with my cell phone. It works with my Mac.
okay, it works with the camera, with the computer.
Sorry.
Got it. Yeah. So our next due diligence would be try to get as close to your cell phone as possible, because that will make the audio quality better.
How's that?
Yeah, the audio sounds better there. Okay.
Great.
Now, Bob, we'll give you a formal introduction when we start in the next link in a few minutes. But I know you've conducted thousands of interviews. You've been interviewed a gazillion times. What are the questions you wish someone would ask you that it never quite gets around to those questions? Because we have an opportunity to talk about those things today.
Yeah. What stops people from really communicating who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in, and what also holds people back from understanding others? We think we're being so clear, and yet so many times it's not getting through to people who should be hearing our messages. And the opposite is just as true. We think we understand what they're saying, but in fact, we're misinterpreting it. And I think that's the key to success in business, politics, personal relationships. And I think we don't do a very good job of it. And what my work has been about is helping people to communicate who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in, and to also understand and really understand others. Not what we think they're saying, but in fact, what they are saying. Does that make sense, TJ?
Yeah. And are there other aspects of your own personal history that you'd like to talk? I mean, you have a unique upbringing with your parents. Your career is different from almost any other communicator I know of. You've really seen the entire arc and history and transformation of modern media into social media. Are there any areas where you feel like you have got insights and you've not been allowed to really talk about those to a large
I was
extent?
very fortunate, TJ, in that I learned about communication by observing and watching some of the best communicators in the world. When I was a political reporter, I covered President of the United States, I covered candidates for very high office in the United States. And these people were much better than the rest of us at communicating their ideas. And so I really learned from them. I copied some of their styles, some of their insights, some of their beliefs, some of their techniques in the way they talked about what they think. And so I was very fortunate in that regard. Also, my parents, you were sort of alluding to this before, were psychoanalysts. And what they were very good at was interpreting what their patients were saying so it made sense to the person that they were treating. They were not just analysts, and they were not just therapists, but they were translators, interpreters, something that we all need. And I think that I learned a lot from them about that.
Great. So we're also going to be talking about your books. We're going to be promoting How to Be Your Own Best Friend, which you have been involved in the editing, a book put out by your father many years ago, which I have on my shelf, and I can't find it, but I have it on my shelf. I wish I could hold it up. But we'll be putting that up on Amazon Live when we go on Amazon. Why Men Stop Having Sex and What You Can Do Without It, and also What Men Won't Tell You. What's that?
What you can do about it.
Oh, I got a typo in there. Okay. And also What Men Won't Tell You, but Women Need to Know. So we'll be spotlighting those books available for purchase right here when we're live, because we'll be on Amazon Live for that. Currently, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and we will be live on Amazon for a part of our interview as well. So we're going to get ready for that. We'll be coming back in just a couple of minutes. Same channel that you're on, right? Same social media, a different StreamYard. if you have questions for Bob Berkowitz, he will be answering your questions directly. So this is the opportunity to talk to someone. You know, I've read about Ronald Reagan in history books and I saw him on TV. Bob has been right there in the Oval Office interviewing them. So Bob, and I'll give a formal introduction later, but Bob is someone who was the first White House correspondent for CNN. He's been an AP reporter. He's been a talk radio host. He's been a reporter for the Today Show, for ABC. He's been a primetime talk show host on CNBC and FNN. He's been a commentator on social media. So he's really been in every kind of niche you could possibly imagine. Plus, he's a great online instructor as well. And we've been fortunate enough to partner together. So Henry has said he's enjoyed your courses, who's rating in. If you have any questions for Bob, this is the time. You can also post them here if you're watching this on demand later. Okay, so we're going to take a 2-minute break. Bob, you have the link for the next interview, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to, and we can use everything else the same. We're going to stick to the cell phone. It looks good.
Good.
And the sound is good. So we're going to meet in 2 minutes and start our formal interview then.
Okay, I'll go.
Thanks.
Okay.
Great.